Welcome to this March podcast about BeeCraft magazine, the award-winning international beekeeping magazine. If you'd like to subscribe, please go to www.bee-craft.com.
Welcome to our third, is it our third podcast?
It is.
My first podcast, actually. I've got to say, I've done shuck swarms, I've done all sorts of stuff. I've never done a podcast. So I have Richard and Stephen here holding my hands here in BeeCraft Towers on either side as we podcast. And I'm assured that we can't be seen. Is that right, gents?
That's right, but you'll also have to tell them who you are, Peter, because our listeners won't have a clue.
Right. Listener out there, my name's Peter. I'm Peter Smith. I do the Beyond the Broodbox column. So I'm not really part of the staff here. I'm just I'm the funny guy. So the serious guys, Stephen and Richard.
Hello there.
Hello.
Peter, do you realise how long you've not been on the staff here? Do you remember when you started?
I do. I think it was it 5 years or 6 years?
It was May 2020.
2020, good grief.
When we were just coming out of lockdown.
You'll be very disappointed when you find out that doesn't turn up on your pension.
Yeah, so many things don't. Yeah, well, I'd like to apologise to everyone out there for having to put up with me for the last 6 years then, almost. Can I retire, please, gents? No? Okay, forget about it.
Yes, but you come back as a part-timer.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
I was just looking back at your very first contribution to BeeCraft back then. You remember we were just coming out of, I think we were just coming out of the first lockdown then. And you ended your piece talking about viruses. I'm just going to read it.
No, I hate this. This is like hearing your own voice. No, this is worse than hearing your own voice because you're hearing your own voice and then worse.
Your own voice in an Irish accent.
Anyway, a timely tip, excuse me. Now, I wouldn't want to spread false hope, but I've been chewing propolis for the past couple of weeks, and I'm so far cold, flu, and virus-free. Of course, this may have as much to do with the fact that it stains your teeth and lips brown, so people don't so much keep their distance as move away, especially when you smile.
Yeah, well, yeah, that could have been written yesterday. Actually, that hasn't changed at all.
Anyway, you've had a preview of the March magazine. What did you think?
I thought the March magazine is excellent, and I don't know whether people have read it beforehand or if this is kind of precursor, but there's a couple of things. Several things actually. I'll probably come on to the whiskey, which is a special one. But there's a feature there on eggs by a lady called Kate Graydon, and I'd really recommend anybody to read that. I mean, for me, when I see an egg, when I can actually look in and see an egg and think, wow, that's an egg. I mean, it's just a triumph of spectacle technology, and I actually started carrying a little pen light so I can see. But to actually see an egg, a perfectly positioned egg in the centre of the cell, that is just standing just so, it's not multi-laden, it's not stuck on the side. For me, that is a kind of red letter day. But I mean, Kate, she's gone one further, and she's actually measured eggs. And the remarkable thing is, I think an egg is an egg. But no, there are different sized eggs. And the great thing is that it's the queen who decides the size of egg to lay. And I've always been taught, I always understood that the queen really is, she's being pushed about by the rest of the girls and she does what they tell her to do. Not so, or not when it comes to egg laying. She can choose to lay a bigger egg if there is a stress in the resources. So if resources are scarce, she can lay a bigger egg, which then, again, remarkably, doesn't translate into a bigger bee. It translates into a differently behaved bee, one that works harder. So more foraging trips, basically. And that just blew me away.
And this difference between the urban and rural environments was really intriguing. I was really surprised that it's the rural bees that lay the bigger eggs because they have to work harder, in a sense.
Yeah, it's entirely counterintuitive. You think, yeah, rural better, and yet when you think about it, it's in terms of forage. If you've got monocultures, you probably are living in a more of a stressed area, whereas an urban or a suburban bee probably has access to more. But for me, it was the fact that she appears to be making this decision, this choice somehow, and I mean, we know she is hyper polyandrous, so she's mated with the entire first 15. So she's got a really good mix of bits and bobs in there. But is she somehow selecting a certain bit or a bob to create this egg?
Yeah.
And is that what more work needed? I guess, but it's
And,
remarkable.
and she's doing a PhD, so she is doing more work. So we're looking forward to hearing the next stages, supposedly after this summer, I hope. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I thought it was terrific. The one thing that I didn't ask her was who actually thought that there might be a difference in egg sizes? Who took
Who
it on
started looking
themselves
up?
to
Yeah,
Well,
measure?
yeah, that exactly. That's just it. You think, does that look a bit odd to you? That one that looks a little bit bigger. But also, I mean, if she could get a grant from the government, I mean, this could solve the whole worker productivity thing at a stroke. So you don't have to go through HR to hire more people. You just lay people with the kind of sleeves rolled up, ready to go. I think it could be the savior of us all. That Kate, if you're listening, please, you
She
must
does
help
listen.
us.
She does listen. So I'm sure.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll have her on next time to explain a bit more. But her
yeah,
article is
yeah.
great, really
yeah.
interesting, and really some really good facts and figures there. Yeah. Okay.
I did ask her in an email if she likes to go to work on an egg, but she didn't reply. I think
Oh.
she might be too young to get the poor reference.
I think she. Yes, and too young, definitely.
Yeah, too young for that one.
Oh dear.
Richard,
Yes.
what did you enjoy in this issue?
Well, I'll tell you this. Okay, there were two articles that I really particularly enjoyed. One was I was lucky to speak to a US wildlife photographer called Karina Aigner, and she won the Natural History Museum Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition a couple of years back with an amazing photograph which she took in South Texas of a mating ball of cactus bees. So these are tiny little bees. She didn't know they existed. She was out for a walk on a ranch and she saw thousands of little volcanoes, as she described them, on the ground, and got out of her car to look, thinking they were ants, and it turned out to be these solitary bees which nest in the ground. And the story kind of briefly covers how she worked out how to take what is a very difficult subject to photograph, and almost by accident, out of thousands of photographs as she was just clicking away, got this absolutely superb image, which won her the prize, and the photograph's been seen all around the world. And we've got a lovely double-page spread of that picture this month. So I thought that was interesting and an amazing photograph, isn't it?
Oh, it's
Amazing
fantastic.
photos, really are.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go and see the whole exhibition at Greenham Park, where we host this wildlife exhibition for a couple of months every year. And yeah, it was great seeing it in the context of all those wildlife pictures. Recommend anyone to go and see that exhibition. It's usually on the Natural History Museum as well.
And the other thing I enjoyed was we had an article from Chris Park, who we hear from now and then, very well known as a skep beekeeper, and he wrote something about his interesting experience as an advisor and a supplier for the production of Hamnet, which of course this week has been in the news because of its BAFTA awards. So I found that was interesting. I was slightly disappointed in the final result of the film in terms of its beekeeping content. Maybe people don't go to the cinema to see beekeeping. I don't know. There are some strange people out there with peculiar interests. But so having read the book, I expected there to be a lot more in the film about bees, but they are there, and Chris's skeps are there, and he's written a quite entertaining piece about his role in the production. And interesting to know that they're quite historically accurate. He based the designs on the hives of Charles Butler, who was contemporary to the happenings of the film.
Perhaps they'll be out there in the outtakes. Do you get outtakes on films these days? No.
I don't know. I think they last did that with Smokey and the Bandit. I used to love that. Do you remember that?
It's been a while.
Yeah. But coming back to your story about eggs, I really enjoyed the photo of the month this year, this month as well, which was from Yair Lupo, of all the drone laying queen, and
Oh yes.
really brilliant photograph close up that just showed shows you what's going on. It's so difficult to see with the naked eye sometimes, but this one really zooms in and you can see eggs and larvae at all stages. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed that one.
brilliant photo. Really
Yeah,
interesting.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Good,
But I
good.
think you said you enjoyed the story on the opposing page, Peter, the one about the whiskey.
I did. Well, yeah, I tried it. I tried it. Can we mention brands? We can't. We can. We
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're not the
Bailey's.
BBC.
It's Bailey's, isn't it? It's
We'll invoice
Bailey's.
them afterwards.
It's Bailey's, which is disgusting, to be honest. But can we? No. Anyway, it was marvelous. I didn't actually have any cream, so I used yogurt, and it kind of makes it a little bit lumpy, but it does the trick. And you can also put it over the granola, which is kind of nice as well.
Yeah.
What does the trick,
Recommend
Peter?
that.
The yogurt or the alcohol?
Not all of it, the whole thing. The whole thing.
I think for those people who are wondering what we're talking about, this is the recipe of the month, which this month is to make your own homemade Baileys. Using some honey and some whiskey and cream. So it's quite an interesting recipe. And I have to say that as the photographer, I was very concerned that it was a lovely sharp image, and every time I moved the glass, the mixture would get up the sides and make it all messy, and I had to empty the glass and start again. So
Suffer for your art, Richard.
I did, yeah. The photographs got progressively less in focus as the afternoon went on.
We should also warn people they shouldn't go looking for Scrabo Irish whiskey. It doesn't quite exist, does it, Richard?
No, that's what they call an Easter egg. So that relates to another story where Stephen has had some hives engraved with some Irish landmarks. And I took one of those engravings and I put it onto a label for a fictional bottle of whiskey just for the photo shoot.
And very nice it looks too. And it was me going around. I'm just back from Ireland, and I was running around trying to look for Scrabo whiskey, thinking this was for real. You'd got it somewhere, but it doesn't. Anyway, I took the hive with these 10 images, laser engraved on the sides of it, WBC, across to Ireland, and it's going up for auction. And I'm told that there's a 4-figure bid in for it already, and that may well go higher. But we'll give that story next month because we got some lovely pictures, and I spoke to the artist when he came along. Great time at the Ulster Beekeepers annual conference, and say no more. They'll be wanting the Scrabble whiskey too.
Peter, was there anything else you enjoyed this month?
I'd like your piece on curios, symbolism. I'm heavily into the symbolism of the bit that it just goes back thousands of years, and you could just talk endlessly about symbolism. But no, your curios piece, it really struck me, the Lloyd's Bank, where they used to have the beehive, the skep, obviously, as their symbol, so symbolizing teamwork, industry, efficiency, sacrifice. And they moved it to a horse over the years, starting almost 100 years ago. And I was thinking, why would a bank do that? Because a bank and a beehive, a colony of bees, have so much in common in terms of this fidelity and industry and so on. But it struck me that actually having a bunch of horses galloping around at random actually is a much more apt metaphor for the banking industry than a hive of bees. So perhaps they know what they're doing after all.
Yeah, actually, Lloyds themselves don't know why it happened. I've been speaking to their archivist, and they changed, as you say, about 100 years ago from using a skep as their logo to the black horse, which they adopted when they took over another bank. So they took over that logo, but they themselves don't seem to know this. They don't seem to have a record of why that was done. It could possibly be that it was already used by other companies. So the Co-op, for example, used the skep, and in fact, where I live down here in Wiltshire, we have an old branch of the Co-op which still has the skep logo above it. So that maybe that's one possibility. But it does mean there are lots of current existing Lloyd's branches and old Lloyd's branches still out there which have the skep logo on them, either in a sign or a carving. And there's one that I know of where it's set into the floor of the building. And there's going to be a little follow-up to that story in a month or two, because as a result of communicating with the NatWest archivists, I've been given access to go and visit another interesting site. So look out for that in a coming issue. Yeah.
That would be interesting. Well, here's a pop quiz for you. Which American state features a skep as its symbol? Actually, don't answer that. You could save that for a future one if you want.
Yes. And there's a second part to that, which is that that particular state contributed to the building bricks of the Washington Monument in what's the tall monument in Washington? The very tall.
Lincoln? No,
Is it? No.
The other one.
It's at the Lincoln Memorial, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the very, very tall,
tall one.
pinnacle.
With the change of bricks. Yes.
Yeah. So that's made with bricks that were donated by individual states, and the one that donated. The one with the skep donated bricks that have a skep engraved on them. But if you want to see it and you go there, you have to take a pair of binoculars because it's about 50 stories up.
So would BeeCraft be offering like a prize to the reader that identified the source of these bricks, or maybe a trip to Washington?
I think it's
that's very kind of you to sponsor, Peter.
Yeah,
thank you. Yes, thank you.
I'm not entirely sure of the veracity of that information. Probably the editors need to go there first to just make sure we got our facts straight. This is the dedication that we have as editors to our accuracy.
Well, I suppose we should tell listeners when we're recording this, because it is a remarkable day. We had the warmest day in the country yesterday, I think, and we got another one today. And for the first time, I've been able to see my bees flying freely. Don't know about you. And really fantastic. And I thought one colony had died, but no, there it was. It had woken up and was bringing in pollen yesterday. So it augurs well for the season. I hope that they manage to come through that disgustingly wet winter.
Yeah, it was so joyous yesterday. I went and saw all mine. Haven't lost any, thank goodness. And I was saying to Stephen that I'm trying to identify a source of pollen. They were bringing in lots of pollen, and some of them were bringing in really cherry red pollen, similar to that you'd expect to see from horse chestnut. I don't quite know where it's coming from, so that requires a bit of investigation.
Interesting. Oh, I'm going to check mine out later today. I don't have them in my garden, but yeah, one of mine I was sure was dead actually. But maybe they've been hiding. I'm inspired by that, Stephen. I'll check them out.
I was very pleased. I had to just stand there and watch to make sure there was pollen going in. It wasn't just robbers going in, but there's definitely pollen going in, which is always a great sign. Anyway, Richard and I are working hard on the next issue already. Got some nice stories coming up, and I've already got your contribution. Thank you very much, Peter. Peter, what would you say to others to encourage them to contribute to BeeCraft?
I would say just watch the beekeepers. I mean, the bees are great, but it's the experts know all about the bees. But if you want some really weird behavior, check out the beekeepers. That's my advice.
Before we go, I've noticed there's a peculiar bandage on your hand. What's that about?
Well, there's some relevance to this because regular readers of Peter's column will know that he sometimes refers to a grumpy goat called Lucy. And I'm lucky enough to have some grumpy goats in a field where I keep some bees. They're normally fenced in.
Lucky.
Yes. Yeah, they're two lonesome males who have to find ways of entertaining themselves between themselves without a female. I'll say no more. And I was looking at some bees recently, and the goats normally come along, say hello, and then off they go. They don't bother me. But on this occasion, each of them got its nose into my kit bag and pulled out a latex glove and began chewing on it. And so I decided that they should probably, this is obviously not going to do them any great good. So I tried to get the glove out of their mouth and pulled, and this got them a little bit angry, and they tried to pull it back, and we had this sort of rubbery tug of war, and one of them basically then dropped the glove and decided to start headbutting me, and the other one decided to join in, and I jumped over the fence to get out of the way, and they started taking it out on a hive. They knocked a hive over, and I had to climb back in to try and remedy the damage, and they started having another go at me. So I now have myself a fractured thumb.
It's fractured, no less.
It's fractured, yes.
That is an authentic goat industry injury. You must be very proud.
So that's what it's like to feel a bit of a goat. Right, okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. First injury and bee stings, of course, because the bees are out before even the end of February.
Right. On that note, I think we'll bid you, our listener, goodbye, and see them next month. Bye then.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. If you're already a BeeCraft subscriber, thank you. And if you're not, you can easily do so by visiting the website www.bee-craft.com. It's very simple to subscribe. Annual subscriptions for 12 printed copies start at just £46 or only £28 for digital copies. For that, you'll receive 48 full-colour pages every month that many readers tell us they read cover to cover.